Hello guys, welcome to a new video on this AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate level. And in this video, we are going to go over one of the recommended knowledge that you need to know for this exam, and it is a hands-on experience I'm using the storage. So we are going to go over the Amazon S3 bucket, and we are going to be doing some labs on it. So let's go ahead and go to the Amazon AWS Management Console, and we are going to go over the storage category, and we're going to select Amazon S3. And over here, the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a bucket. And in this bucket, for the bucket name, you need to remember that this bucket name, it is actually, it needs to be a global name, a unique global name. So it needs to be a name that nobody has it, that nobody is using. Okay. And for the region right here, you need to select the region from where your users are going to be accessing this region. And the closest region that I have is this North Virginia. So that's the region that I'm going to select, and I'm going to click on create. And it is creating that bucket. Let's give it a couple seconds. It shouldn't take this long. I don't know why it's taking this long. Come on, Amazon. I know you can do it. It is just a single bucket that I created. There we go. You can see now in the back, it has been created. So that's good. The first exercise that we're going to do is we are going to upload. So we're going to go into this bucket and we're going to upload a object. And you can upload any object. And the maximum size that you can upload to this bucket is 5 terabytes. There we go. I have uploaded this image right here. And what I want to do is, the first thing that I want to do is, I want to go ahead and rename it, and we are going to name this ccdgt.com, and we're going to save it. There we go. So we have now a different name, so that's how you are able to rename it. If you want to delete it, you select it, and then you go to action, and you go ahead and click on delete. Delete. There we go. The object is gone. Let's go ahead and upload another object. And we are going to upload another picture. Let's upload this picture right here. Upload. Done. Let's go ahead and rename it again. And we're going to rename it ccdgg.com. Now it is saved. And let's see. So we have rename and delete the objects. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to make this object public, because if you go into this object, you see that you have access denied and you cannot access this from outside, from the public network. So we want to make this object public. And before you do that, you need to go into the bucket. You're going to select the bucket because you need to make the bucket available publicly first, and then you can make the objects inside the bucket public. So let's go ahead and do that. And I believe we had to go, let's see, the management permissions. So we go to permissions and block public, because by default it blocks everything publicly. So the public access is blocked. So you want to go ahead and edit, and you want to unselect that, and you want to save it. You want to confirm. There we go. So now the bucket is public. So after that bucket is public, you want to make that object publicly available as well. So let's go ahead and go to permissions and public access to everybody, and just to read only. That's fine. Save it. And there it is. This bucket is now available to the public. So now if you go click on here and you go to the object URL, we are able to see that picture. As you can see right here, that's the picture that I uploaded. So that is now publicly available. So now we uploaded an object, we made it public, we rename it, and we deleted objects in the bucket. So now that is good. So now other part that we want to do is we want to enable versioning. And if we go into the bucket, you can see that the versioning tab is now there. So let's go ahead and enable versioning. Select the bucket. And if you see right here, versioning is in the properties. So you want to enable versioning. And as you can see, whenever you enable versioning, you cannot disable versioning. You only are allowed to suspend versioning. Okay. So that's something to know or to remember for the exam. Click on that bucket and now you can see that you have different versions. So we only have one version for this object right here. Let's go ahead and hide it. And if you select that bucket and if you delete it, you're going to see that it's gone. But if you go to versions, you're going to show it. You can see that the delete marker is there, right? So we have two versions, the one that is there and then the delete marker that we have here. And if you want to restore this object, all you have to do is select that delete marker and you want to you want to delete that marker. And after you delete that marker, this one is going to show up again. Okay, so that is good with versioning. You know how versioning works. And if you enable versioning, you cannot disable versioning. All you can do is suspend versioning. And we deleted the object and we restore the object. So that was one of the exercises that we need to do. And now we need to go ahead and configure lifecycle management. And for most lifecycle rules require some number of days to expire before the transition takes effect. For example, it takes a minimum of 30 days to transition from S3 standard to Amazon S3 standard infrequent access. And this makes it impractical to create a lifecycle rule and see the actual result in an exercise. So let's go ahead and configure or enable lifecycle. We are going to do this uh, from the bucket level, and you're going to go into lifecycle. And also, before you enable lifecycle, you need to enable versioning. If versioning is not enabled, then you won't be able to do lifecycle management. So let's go ahead and add a rule, and we are going to call this test. That's fine. We're not going to add any tags. Let's go ahead and click next, and we want to do it for all current versions. Let's go ahead and add a transition, and I want to send it to, let's transition this to Glacier, or not to Glacier. Let's start with infrequent access first after 30 days, which is the minimum required. And then after 60 days, I wanted to send it to Amazon Glacier, and I'm going to acknowledge that. So after 30 days, we are going to send it to standard infrequent access because the objects inside this bucket is not going to be that frequently accessed. And then after 60 days, since we're not really going to be using it, we are going to send it into the Glacier after 60 days. And and then after that, we need to add the current expiration time. So I want it to expire after 120 days. So after 120 days, what's going to happen is it's going to be deleted from the Amazon Glacier. There we go, and save it. So there it is. We have added a lifecycle rule. And like I said before, if you want to um, if you are going to enable lifecycle, you need to enable versioning before. Otherwise, it is going to give you an error. So now let's do the last one. And in this one, we are going to just enable a static hosting on your bucket. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into Amazon S3 and we're going to create another bucket and we're going to call this website ccdtt.com. We're going to leave it in the region of North Virginia. We're going to select this and we have to go into the properties right here, and you can enable hosting right here. You can either use this bucket to host a website or you can redirect request. So whenever they go to this one, you can send it to a domain, right? So let's go ahead and enable that. We're going to call this index.html, and we are now going to have an error document. That's good. Save it. There we go. Now let's go ahead and into that bucket. We can go to overview and we can create, we are going to upload a new file, but before we do that, let's go ahead and open Leafpad. Uh, this is from my other video, and we're going to do let's go ahead and a simple HTML page. Let's see if we find a simple one. Headings. Let's go ahead and just copy this right here and copy it over here, and let's go ahead and save it. Save it as index.html because that's the one that we told the website to look for. There we go. That is saved. Let's go ahead to over here and let's go ahead and upload it. Index.html. We're going to upload it. There we go. So now let's see if we're able to see this website. We have access denied right here. So what we want to do is, since we have this access denied, what we want to do is we want to enable this to be publicly available. So we need to do it from the bucket level first. So let's go ahead and go to permissions, edit that public access, and either let's just do it from just the object and see if we get that error. So let's go to permissions and let's go ahead and enable it, read only, save it. And as you can see, it gives you an access denied, and it tells you that you can't grant public access because black public access settings are turned on for this bucket. So we need to, that's why you need to do it from the bucket first before you do it from a object. So let's go ahead and select that, permissions, and let's go ahead and edit that, save it, type confirm. Now let's go ahead into overview to go into the object, select that object, permission, public access to everyone, read only. Now let's go ahead into overview again, select that. Still gives me access denied. Now let's go ahead and go back, permissions, everyone, read only. I thought I gave it read only. Oh, there we go. Now it says yes. Okay, now we should have access to it. There we go. And you can see this is heading 1, this is heading 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you want to edit that, um, let's go ahead and to my documents, delete index.html. And what if we open this, open with Leafpad. Let's go ahead and open it, index.html. And let's say this is my website. And then we can just remove the other headings, save it, cancel. Let's go ahead and go into Amazon Web Services. Let's go ahead into the bucket. Let's go ahead and just delete this bucket, or not this bucket, this object. Let's upload another one, this one right here, the one that I edited. And even from here, if you select the actions and if you want to make public, you can just make public from here instead of going to permissions, right? You can just make it. Did I make it public? Let me see, permissions. Yep, there you go. Read object access is good. Now let's go ahead into the overview and take a look at it. And there we go. This is my website. Okay, so this is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this exercise, or in this lab, if you want to call it. What we did was, the first thing we did, we created a bucket, And then in that bucket, we added some objects to that bucket. We made it public. We rename it. We deleted objects in the bucket. We also enable versioning, right? We enable versioning from that bucket. And then what we did was we deleted the object and restored the object as well by showing the versions. And then we enable lifecycle. And you need to remember that for you to be able to enable lifecycle, you need to enable versioning before you can do that. And then we enable a static hosting on your bucket. Okay. And we created two different buckets, and we also made the bucket publicly available and the object publicly available. So we had access to it from the public network. So this is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And on the next videos, we are going to start talking about instances. So on the next video, we are going to start talking about compute. And specifically, we are going to go over the EC2 compute, and we are going to be launching some instances. As you can see right here, instances. So you can launch a couple instances. So that's what we're going to start talking about. So this is it for this video, like I said before. And if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Twitter at TCNA Daily Tips, go ahead and do that if you have a Twitter account. And if you do not have a Twitter account, go ahead and create a Twitter account and then follow me on Twitter. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.